What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and if you're enjoying the content here on my channel, then make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit subscribe so you can help decide what direction the content on my channel goes in the foreseeable future. Okay, what's going on, guys? This is Rob, and I'm actually recording this in a hotel room. So hopefully you guys can hear the birds chirping and everything, but it unfortunately limits my ability to process the audio and make it sound like super polished and everything, so I'll do the best I can. But we've been covering like beyond Omega level mutants, right? Like in Marvel Comics, we've been covering mutants that are beyond Omega level. Now, for those of you guys who are new here, the term Omega level is used to define the power of a mutant in relation to all other mutants. Mutants that have the ability to fundamentally reshape the planet Earth or to impact the planet Earth in such a way to cause extinction or a massive loss of life, or to just change the form and function of the Earth itself, are generally considered to be Omega level, but only insofar that for the most part, their powers affect the entirety of the Earth, but not really anything else outside of it. Beyond Omega level is basically mutants that have the ability to, in some form or fashion, alter and manipulate the very fabric of reality itself. So, Franklin Richards is beyond Omega level because he can shoot real bullets from a fake gun. He can make Galactus's herald, different things like that. The Molecule Man, Owen Reese, he's not really a mutant, but he's a beyond Omega level threat just because of the fact that he can turn a cat into a teacup if he wanted to. He manipulates the molecular structure of matter no matter what universe he's in, and there's no limit to the amount of matter he can manipulate. So he could change the entirety of the universe if that's what he wanted to do. Now, in Marvel Comics, where you have Omega level mutants, you also have Omega level threats, and those are basically non-mutants equivalent to Omega level mutants in terms of their powers. Beyond Omega level threats are people who are not mutants but have a level of power that makes them equivalent to beyond Omega level mutants. So again, the Molecule Man or Mad Jim Jaspers or somebody like that. In this video, we're going to be talking about beyond Omega level Spider-Man, particularly Cosmic Spider-Man. Now, beyond Omega level Cosmic Spider-Man is one of the coolest things because it's basically a version of Spider-Man that becomes God. It's crazy the kind of power he possesses, but the basis behind the power that Spider-Man has is rooted in something called the Unipower, and the Unipower is rooted in something called the Enigma Force. And the Enigma Force is really just this energy force that Marvel's never really bothered to explain. We know it comes from the Microverse, this tiny itty-bitty universe inside the main Marvel universe. For those of you guys who saw the movie Ant-Man, if Scott Lang had kept shrinking down in that movie, he would have eventually discovered the Microverse. It's that small, it's that minuscule, but it's stars and planets and life and all different kinds of stuff. It's literally a universe, but it's just insanely small in scope. We know the Enigma Force comes from there, but we don't really know who made it. We don't know if it's like, the Microverse's equivalent of the power cosmic. We don't really know anything about that, but we do know that when it comes to the Unipower, that the Unipower is more of like a sentience or like a state of being. It's an energy force that people are imbued with. Specifically, it's designed to be a guardian for the cosmic entity Eternity. Now, it's kind of a weird situation because Eternity is the most powerful being in the main Marvel universe in that particular universe. In any one universe, Eternity is the most powerful cosmic being there. Now, people with like the Infinity Gauntlet will be more powerful than Eternity. There are some wildly powerful beings like Mad Jim Jaspers, but he's not a cosmic being. So in terms of the cosmic entities, Eternity is the most powerful out of all of them. But the idea here is that the Unipower serves as a protector of Eternity, which is kind of strange because when you're as powerful as Eternity is, it's like that image that we've all seen where like Jason Momoa has bodyguards, but like he's bigger than his bodyguards. Like he would protect them better than they would protect him. But the fact remains that the Unipower basically just kind of appears in a time of need. And it's really just one of those plot devices that Marvel comes up with where it's just like, let's give this character an insane amount of power and the Unipower will be the way in which we do it. No explanation really needed. That's really it. The instance where Spider-Man became God took place during a story called Acts of Vengeance. And Acts of Vengeance, if I remember, was like this 12-part crossover event, but it was basically a circumstance where Loki had brought together all these villains in the Marvel universe, and the idea was that he was going to start facing them off against heroes that they would normally never face. So think about like the events that led into the original Old Man Logan story, except this time it took place way back when and it was all led by Loki, but it ultimately failed. The idea here was that Loki wanted to pit Spider-Man against something called the Tri-Sentinel. And the reason why was because of the fact that Spider-Man had fought Kingpin, he'd fought a majority of the villains in some form or fashion, he'd fought a good portion of the villains who were part of the Acts of Vengeance, whether it was because he was, fighting alongside the Avengers, albeit not really part of the team, whether it's because he had fought alongside the Fantastic Four or he had simply fought them on their own. The fact remains that he had fought a lot of these different foes. And so pitting him against something like the Tri-Sentinel, which was basically this amalgamation of 3 different iterations of the Sentinels as they'd been created over the years. The hope was that Spider-Man wouldn't know how to cope with it, and the result was that it would lead to Spider-Man being defeated. The problem with this is that where Spider-Man would have been beaten, he was suddenly imbued with the power of Captain Universe. Now, the way that this works is that when a person is imbued with the Unipower and they become Captain Universe, all the memories and experiences of the past Captain Universes are all intertwined in them. So basically what that means is that Spider-Man, as Captain Universe, remembers everything from everyone who had ever been Captain Universe before. So he knows the lengths of the powers that he can use in terms of what they could do, which means that if they had super strength, Spider-Man now knows that he has super strength. If they were able to warp reality, Spider-Man now knows that he can warp reality. He maintains all those memories and different things like that. But in terms of what it is that makes him beyond Omega level, while the different powers of Captain Universe have waxed and waned over the years in context with the story, which is to say, some stories write Captain Universe to be a lot more powerful than he is in previous iterations. When Spider-Man was Captain Universe, he was basically God. He could manipulate matter on a universal scale. He could basically do anything he wanted to. He could bestow powers to others. He could take those powers away. He could heal people who were on the brink of death. He had no need for any, food, water, any of that kind of stuff. Almost unlimited strength. There was actually one instance where he punched the Incredible Hulk into orbit, virtually unlimited durability. He could fly beyond the speed of light, energy projection abilities that would rival that of even Galactus. It was crazy the level of power that he had. And so because of this, Spider-Man as as Captain Universe was basically beyond Omega level, because what this meant was that he had a level of power that was unrivaled. He was more powerful than like any of the other beings that we've seen so far in terms of, just powerful people from planet Earth. He was more powerful than Franklin Richards, Matthew Malloy, because really Matthew Malloy didn't know how to use his powers, like the Spider Sense, for example. The Spider Sense that Peter Parker had as Captain Universe was pushed to the extreme. So where he would normally walk around as his normal self without the Unipower, he would walk around and somebody would, pull out a gun and try to shoot him, his Spider Sense would tingle and he would be aware to what that guy was doing. As Cosmic Spider-Man, he was aware of virtually everything. He had cosmic awareness. And what cosmic awareness meant was that he knew everything that was going on in the universe at any one particular point in time. Now, most anybody who has universe-spanning powers has some ability when it comes to cosmic awareness. I mean, Molecule Man has them, Franklin Richards has them, Quasar had it, Marvel of the Kree had it. Cosmic awareness is just kind of this wild power that's given to people where they basically know everything that's going on in the universe at any one particular time. But when you combine that with everything that Spider-Man could do, it was insane. I mean, the ability to warp reality on a universal scale, to do anything with the universe that he wanted to. Unlimited strength, unlimited durability, unlimited stamina, instantaneous healing factor, energy projections that could destroy planets. I mean, it was crazy all the different abilities that he had. Now, the way that the Unipower works is that it only stays bonded with a person for any period of time, but it's limited based on 2 factors. The first is that the need for Captain Universe basically ends. And so if it were some being that showed up and had the ability to destroy the planet Earth, and Captain Universe shows up and says, okay, I'm going to bond with Spider-Man in order to stop the Tri-Sentinel, then once that threat is eliminated, then the powers of Captain Universe go away. The Unipower basically just dissipates and it leaves that person. The only other instance is if a person tries to use the powers for evil. Because remember, the Captain Universe abilities, the Unipower is sentient. It can think. It has its own rationale. It has its own line of logic. We've seen that over the course of Marvel's publication history, but it really hit home during the events of Jonathan Hickman's run on Avengers and New Avengers, which led up to the collapse of the multiverse, when a new Captain Universe showed up, but the woman had been in a car crash and she was in a coma. And so when it got to the point where the incursions were happening and the various Earths were crashing into each other, the Unipower bonded with this girl who was in a coma and then basically woke her up. And so whenever you had like Shang-Chi, who was speaking with this girl, trying to figure out who she was, every once in a while, the girl would go away and then the Unipower would step in and start speaking in her place. And so the Unipower is sentient. It has its own desires and ambitions, but it's only to be used for good. It's never to be used for evil. And so because of that, if somebody were to try to use it for evil deeds, the Unipower would just dissipate, it would abandon them, and then it would either go find a new host or it would simply just go away in its entirety. But again, that's the whole idea of beyond Omega level threat. When it comes to Spider-Man, as Cosmic Spider-Man, he was limitless. There was nothing he couldn't do. He was basically God in terms of all the forms and fashions and powers that he had available to him. The only major thing that he could not do that virtually any other major cosmic entity can do is resurrect the dead. He couldn't bring a person back from the dead. But aside from that, he could do virtually anything he wanted to. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.